Okay, I have no idea how to follow that as well. Thank you, Al. You are the best. You were the best work experience we have ever had to this date, and congratulations on your remarkable career as well, which has been fantastic. So thank you for being here. Can I just say it's been great partnership between the Sport Industry Group and MadFest to create Mad Sport. We will hopefully be continuing this relationship for a number of years, but I think it's been a wonderful partnership to bring things together. And part of the joy of it is to watch the sports platform really blossom and grow. And it's not just data, tech, creators, influencers that are doing it. It's really the platform of women's sport and also this platform around social change and purpose that really is driving things forward. As we're all slightly discombobulated by what's going on in the world at the moment, the optimism we can feel about sport and its impact and physical activity is something really exciting. And I think brands are really cottoning onto that at the moment and finding a very safe space to talk about positive things in the world. And we've got a great opportunity because I think the interesting thing about the purpose conversation is, does creativity get lost in it? Does humor get lost in it as well? And we've got a couple of great award winners who were part of the Sport Industry Awards this year and fabulously won a couple of awards between them. So I'm going to welcome on stage Jenny Seymour from ParalympicsGB. Come and join me. And Oliver Mead from 3 Mobile. Welcome. Fantastic to have you on here. 2 brilliant rights holders, one brilliant rights holder, one brilliant brand that have done some fantastic work. Congratulations on your awards. I assume you've stopped partying and celebrating and you've moved on from it. It was about 3 months ago.
Just about.
Just about, okay. Look, the first thing I'm going to do is really simple, is give us a quick 2 minutes on your campaign. Jenny, I'll let you go first because you're closest to me. I don't know whether that's a factor, but explain a bit more on the award and why you believe that you won that award.
Thanks, Nick. So I think the program that we're talking about is Everybody Moves, powered by Toyota, and fundamentally it's a platform that showcases inclusive and accessible physical activity sessions, opportunities, clubs for disabled people to get into sport. And I think it's been around a while. I think it started pre-London 2012, but it's been through several iterations and I think grown from strength to strength. And I think largely that is due to Toyota's investment, which has been transformational, but also the way they've chosen to activate and run with the platform. Why did it win? Well, it's great. No, I think Paris obviously was an impressive games. I think ParalympicsGB, we came second on the medal table, but we always talk about the fact that we won 49 gold medals on the field of play, but our biggest gold medal was our 50th, which we class as our off the field of play work, which largely is Everybody Moves, but also our Equal Play campaign, which is all about inclusive PE in schools. And I think what made the difference for us this year, and I guess refreshed it, is that it wasn't just about Toyota's work. We lent the platform to Channel 4, who again, they partnered with Toyota as well, but they fundamentally signposted all of their programming, both from mentions from commentators, presenters, but across all of their TV adverts as well, that signposted to Everybody Moves. But we also showcased it at our fan zone at Battersea Park, so there was an Everybody Moves takeover, as well as all of your usual social content, various pieces that athletes did for us. So I think the reason we won is that we fundamentally capitalised on our spot in the sunshine.
And not your only award, Team of the Year as well, of course, and Channel 4 and Whisper winning for the TV production as well. What amazing work they did this year from the Paralympics. Big round of applause, please.
I was just going to say it was one hell of a hangover.
Yes, and the biggest hangover as well. Ollie, welcome. Talk to us a little bit more about Talk More Than Football and how that went ahead to win that Talent Campaign of the Year.
Yeah, thank you. So for, I guess, a bit of context, the iteration that was submitted and won for this award was actually our 3rd campaign in and around mental health, the 2nd under the banner of Talk More Than Football, and in essence is in partnering with Chelsea and Samaritans, our mental health charity, bringing the pretty scary stats to life around mental health and the impact it has on the wider community, but the football fan audience particularly. I think from memory the number was 2 in 3 football fans have suffered with their mental health and really struggle to actually open up and communicate. But on the flip side of that, every football fan is happy and willing to indulge in a conversation about their favourite team, the result on the weekend, etc. So taking the idea of, well, there's a subject you're so happy to talk about, but there's something over here that's far more important. Let's somehow find a way of combining those two and opening it up. The idea of a team talk was landed on, sort of, again, a very, I guess, familiar territory for football fans to be involved with. And then to your point about the talent campaign of the year, we needed someone with real presence to deliver that. And Hollywood hardman Vinnie Jones was ultimately our selection there. The bruiser that is the Hollywood hardman. I'm sure we all remember scenes from Snatch and from Layer Cake and others. And then the football player that he was as well. But having someone of Vinny's stature come out and speak so willingly and so openly about the subject matter, but also his own experiences, and was really, really open with us as we were developing the campaign, but then also in the media interviews afterwards. And, I think that brought that word authenticity to it for us. So I imagine, and I assume that's what the judges were looking at when they saw that, a really important subject matter delivered in, an impactful, creative way, but ultimately the talent that led that conversation flipped the script a little bit, or pulled the rug, I should say. You weren't expecting someone of his stature necessarily to be so open about that sort of subject.
It's interesting because Peter Frankopan, who's the writer of the Silk Roads and the head of history, global history at Oxford, said that actually sport was perfect for men to avoid having conversations with each other. And that's actually been a very important use for men to connect with each other. And it's said that not for women as well, but very much avoiding conversations that are difficult. So very commendable. I think that just an observation when I'm talking to you, it sounds like you're doing the job the government should do, isn't it really? It's crazy that we're, talking to organizations that are building platforms so people, to create a more inclusive world for people. By the way, I've just got to say, MadFest have been brilliant. They've had so much representation from the Paralympic world on stage over the last 2-3 days. It's been brilliant, actually. So thank you to MadFest for providing that platform as well. But it seems crazy that we've got Toyota stepping in and almost creating something that should bloody exist, shouldn't it, really? And it should be created. And at the same time, talking about mental health as well, the fragility in the mental health infrastructure in the world at the moment and around young people is pretty staggering. And it's just a quick observation, hearing you guys, is that we're suddenly realizing that the private sector is stepping in to where the government should be at the moment. But our real question is, how can we see that really benefit the private sector as well? So I'd love to know, with you, Ollie, that strategic session, and I know it's 3 years ago now, how did the conversation move towards mental health? Were you all sitting around the room and someone stuck their hand up, go, this sounds like a good idea? Or how was that initial bit of nuance brought to you guys?
Yeah, so it's actually a throwback to more than 3 years ago. So our first iteration of a mental health campaign was actually called Support Someone Else. Our sort of positioning going into the world of football, as we were trying to earn our right to speak, and as a connectivity and a network company, our positioning was, let's connect the fans. Let's give them, peek behind the curtain, bring them closer together, bring them closer to the teams they love, etc. So under the vise of Connect the Game, Support Someone Else was during COVID. We launched that around Christmas time. Very obviously a moment of celebration and for many, many families, but actually one of the loneliest times as well for many people. Off the back of a challenging few years in and around COVID, we wanted to bring people together then and encourage them just to kind of to open up. And we had, at the time, Emma Hayes and Frank Lampard delivering a faux press conference to a camera in this instance, but encouraging them to support someone else. So the head coaches of two major football teams, the men's and the women's team at Chelsea, to deliver that message. That was kind of the initial piece to us. And in all honesty, that acted as a catalyst. We then officially brought on Samaritans as our charity partner, and they were phenomenally supportive as we built that out. Chelsea equally, that they got it, they understood it. Football fans is their core audience, and they were just so supportive in allowing us to build it bigger and bigger. First iteration was brilliant. Bringing in Vinnie Jones was something where we put a real shot in the arm to it, just to deliver that message to the masses. Some of the proudest parts about the campaign, the media buy. We had first an ad break during the Euros final. That's how passionately we as a brand believed in this message and wanted to just allow us to communicate it.
Okay, amazing. I remember that campaign during COVID. It was a pretty stunning campaign, actually. Jenny, what makes, for you, the Paralympics, an outstanding partner? What are you looking for? We've got a load of brands in the room. Are you picky? Are you choosy? Or is it anyone who gives you money?
No, it's not anyone. We and again, confidentially speaking, I'm not going to release names, but we have turned people down, which I think as a commercial director chasing an income target is sometimes a bit of a challenge. I think what makes us really unique is that we are an elite level sports team, but we have a really credible and authentic social purpose. We have an incredible platform. Once every 2 years, if you think about winter games and then summer games, we have our real spotlight. But I think what's really important is that we now want to work with brands that want to activate in non-games years as well, because there's a huge amount of opportunity and work still to be done there, which is why, again, programs like Everybody Moves and our Equal Play campaign are so vital to our partnership. So we really look for partners that are aligned with us from a values point of view. It would be wrong of me to say cash isn't important. Cash is really important. I think you made the point earlier, in an ideal world, the government would be doing lots of things around mental health, around inclusive PE, but we are a relatively small organisation and we do need commercial support to be able to enable us to do this incredible work. But I think more than anything, our athletes are incredible. I think they're high achievers. They triumph above adversity. We try not to talk too much about what we call inspiration porn, but they are bloody impressive. We've got people, I'm thinking of Sophie Christensen, who a multi-medalist. She also works at Goldman Sachs. Just an incredible individual. And it makes you feel really inferior sometimes, but it also means that you go out and you strive to make sure that your partners are doing what you want them to do and that they are showcasing and celebrating everything, because we know the general public need to know more about ParalympicsGB. I guarantee you, most of you in here probably think we're called Team GB. We're not. We're ParalympicsGB. We're very friendly with our friends at Team GB, but we're very proud of what makes us different. And that thing that makes us different is our social purpose.
And just quickly, by the way, these are two quite long-term campaigns, funnily enough. When you look at it, that they've been going on quite a while, so that might prove to be that success around social impact and purpose often comes from a longer tail to the campaign. It's a campaign isn't 2 or 3 months and could be a number of years, can't it? So just talk to me about commercially. We are at the awards seeing a lot of people thinking that the final outcome to these campaigns is a brand value or is engagement numbers. And I suppose we're getting a little, that's changed, yeah? We used to get sales figures now. So what's the commercial value? Just really quickly, because we've got 5-6 minutes left. Just really quickly, what's that commercial value that you've got out of this? I know there's that big swing in connection to football for your brand and brand love as well. Give a bit more of an explanation of that.
Yeah, I think they do go hand in hand, obviously. So I think one very much leading to the other. We work with a football club such as Chelsea to engage football fans. We have to earn the right to speak, and campaigns like Talk More Than Football, We See Network, and other ones that we've done give us the right to do that. We speak to them in the way that we want to earn their trust. We want to be endeared to them, and obviously social purpose-led campaigns allows us to connect on a far deeper level. There is a commercial reason we invest in a club like Chelsea. We're not doing it necessarily just for a gesture of goodwill or a donation to them. We know that there's a long tail effect in sponsorship. There is a bit of tenure required to kind of see the initial commercial gains. However, we also have the opportunities to speak to an engaged audience who are going to be more interested in us. They're going to be more aware of us. And in my industry in particular, the percentage in market at any one time is quite small. You don't change your phone contract all that often, once every 12 months, 24 months maybe. So it's so important that we are top of mind for the audience that we're speaking to when they go to purchase, and campaigns that have had a long-lasting impact on them, such as Talk More Than Football, really supports that. Other brands, other industries that I've worked in, I used to work for Moet Hennessy, and that was a bit more dollars in, dollars out. You're sponsoring an entity, you've got porridge rights, and you can tell the commercial results off the back of it. Yeah. So it's a little horses for courses. Yeah.
And Jenny, how many cars did you sell for Toyota?
Me personally, none. Thankfully, I would actually echo a lot of what's just been said. I think we, as a sponsorship property, aren't necessarily going to drive sales. It's not what we do. We are fundamentally a rights holder that makes people feel better about a company that they're choosing to purchase something from. So I think, and Toyota in particular, they don't talk about us driving sales. They talk about us driving brand warmth, brand sentiment, that side of things. Everyone knows who Toyota are, even if you can't say it. And so they don't need us for that. They need us for the authenticity they bring. And I think what's really interesting, and Toyota, I think the first International Olympic Committee sponsor that actively chose to invest in every single National Paralympic Committee as well, and that doesn't happen. So they are hugely credible when it comes to this space, and I think it obviously does make commercial sense for them because we're one of the few NPCs that they have chosen to renew with now that their global deal has ended. So it works. Can I say that we've driven their sales? No. Can I say people like Toyota more because of us? Yes.
Okay, I've got time for two more quick questions. So I'm going to try and phrase these differently and ask you to tell me future gaze. I think, as I said to you earlier, imagine you had £10 million. How are you going to come up? I'm going to phrase it slightly differently for you, Jenny. Would you prefer to be working for the Olympic movement coming into this period of change or the Paralympics? Ignoring the fact that your boss might be in the audience.
No, that's right.
We should ignore that.
He's not, but one of my colleagues is.
Yeah, okay.
So controversially, I'm going to say the Olympic movement, but because I'd be a Paralympic challenger and champion, and I think the IOC are a beast, shall we say. They do incredible things, but they are treading on Paralympic toes without giving us any financial return for various reasons. So I personally think I could implement more change if I took a role at the IOC. That said, my heart is in Paralympic sport.
And what do you think, if you had that 10 million for investment, where are you putting it now?
So interesting, I know we had this debate and you were very vehement around don't say young people is the answer, and I'm not going to say young people are the answer, but creating inclusive activity is vital. So 1 in 4 disabled children have access to a normal school sport environment or are able to do activity. Not only does that mean we're not getting the best talent through, but fundamentally there are over 1 million disabled children who are not considered healthy because they don't have the opportunity for physical activity in school, out of school. That investment would be game-changing. It would make us perform better on the field of play. It would make us as a nation healthier.
Okay, awesome. And Ollie, we spoke earlier about the slight rub of a mobile company talking around mental health, such an important area. And a lot of people think that, the mobile phones sit at the centre of some of that. So how does that come to life for you coming forward, and how would you phrase that?
Yeah, it's a tricky question to answer, given I work for a company that ultimately sells sells those devices. Sorry. However, it was a really good challenge, and one I wanted to not just give a sort of batting back the answer to. I think they are part of the problem, and I think they are also part of the solution. I think the main thing, and I was listening to a podcast just yesterday about this, and they were talking about the role of the mobile phone. It's a tool, and how you use that tool is what really helps. We had Vinnie Jones in the campaign ad saying, pick up the phone, send a text, make a call. It could save a life. And I think that's the true purpose of it. And when we were discussing it earlier, I grew up in New Zealand. All my closest friends are on the other side of the world. And if I need to talk to them, I need a mobile phone to do it. So I do really think it's part of the solution. I really do. That said, I think there's an element of monitoring that's required, and that is definitely where we maybe throw it back to the government, or at least maybe show them the way.
It's that intentional use of technology for good, isn't it? So you can improve a human connection as well at the same time.
That's a far more eloquent way of saying that, actually. I'm going to steal that, thank you.
No worries. Okay, so we've been told to wrap up. I just want to say it's fantastic to see two amazing organisations having such a great impact, tackling different issues, but difficult issues, and representing also the fact that the platform for sport is becoming even more exciting for brands to come and play. And I think it's going to be a great 10 years ahead for our industry. But a huge thank you to you, Ollie and Jenny, for sharing your views, and congratulations on your award. Thank you.
Thank you.